Hi, I'm Dr. Dralos. This is a lecture on terminology of the musculoskeletal system. The musculoskeletal system supports and moves the body. Orthopedic surgery is a surgical specialty focused on the musculoskeletal system. The word orthopedic comes from orthos, meaning right or straight, and pedia, meaning rearing of children. This term originally came from references to curing deformities in the bodies of children. Physical medicine and rehabilitation, also called physiatry, is a medical specialty that aims to enhance and restore functional ability and quality of life to persons with physical impairments. Now we'll briefly review the anatomy of the musculoskeletal system. The skeleton includes the cranium, which is the part of the skull that encloses the brain, and the mandible, which is the lower jaw. The chest includes the clavicle, also called the collarbone, the sternum, which is the breastbone. This includes three parts: the manubrium, the body of the sternum, and the xiphoid process, and the ribs, which together form the rib cage. The arm includes the humerus, which is the bone of the upper arm, and the ulna and radius, which are bones of the forearm. The back includes the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. This connects the clavicle to the humerus. The vertebrae include the cervical vertebra, there are 7, the thoracic vertebra, there are 12, and the lumbar vertebra, of which there are 5. The sacrum is a bony structure at the base of the lumbar vertebra connected to the pelvis. The coccyx is the tailbone. The hand and wrist bones include the carpals, which are bones that make up the wrist and connect the forearm to the hand, the metacarpals, which are tubular bones that go between the wrist and the fingers, and the phalanges, which are the finger bones. The leg includes the femur. This is the thigh bone. It's the longest, strongest bone in the human body. The patella is the kneecap, and the tibia and fibula are bones of the lower leg. The foot and ankle include the tarsals, which are the bones of the posterior foot, the metatarsals, which are the bones of the forefoot, and the phalanges, which are the toe bones. The phalanges of the fingers and toes are analogous, and the metacarpals and metatarsals are analogous. Now we'll review muscle. There are 3 types of muscle. Smooth muscle is non-striated or smooth. It contracts involuntarily and is found within the walls of organs. Cardiac muscle is striated. It also contracts involuntarily and is found only in the heart. Skeletal muscle is striated. It contracts voluntarily and moves the skeleton. There are different terms to describe movement. Flexion refers to narrowing of the angle of a joint, while extension refers to straightening of the angle of a joint. Abduction refers to movement away from the midline, adduction to movement towards the midline, and circumduction to circular movement of a body part. Pronation means rotating the hand so the palm faces down, while supination means rotating the hand so the palm faces up. Dorsiflexion means bending the foot upward towards the shin. Plantarflexion is pointing of the toes or pressing down on the gas. Eversion is tilting the sole of the foot away from the midline, and inversion is tilting the sole of the foot towards the midline. Now we'll discuss muscles. The deltoid is a shoulder muscle. It enables arm abduction along the frontal plane. The rotator cuff helps keep the arm stably in the shoulder socket. The biceps brachii, commonly called just the biceps, enable flexion and supination of the forearm. The brachialis also enables flexion of the forearm. Pronator teres pronates the forearm and assists in forearm flexion. Brachioradialis flexes the forearm and is involved in pronation and supination. Pectoralis major, or the pecs, forms the bulk of the chest muscles. Rectus abdominis is the top layer of the abs, and this forms a six-pack. Abdominal external oblique is the side part of the abs. Iliopsoas connects the spine to the lower limbs. Quadriceps femoris, or the quads, is the strongest muscle in the body. The adductor muscles of the inner thigh bring the legs toward the midline. Peroneus longus and brevis are found in the lateral compartment of the lower leg, while tibialis anterior is found in the anterior compartment of the lower leg. From a posterior view, we can see additional muscles. The trapezius stabilizes and moves the scapula. Levator scapulae elevate and rotate the scapula. The rhomboids retract, elevate, and rotate the scapula. The triceps brachii extend the elbow joint. Latissimus dorsi adducts, extends, and internally rotates the shoulder. Gluteus maximus straightens the leg at the hip. The hamstring muscles extend the hip and flex the knee. These include the biceps femoris, semimembranosus, and semitendinosus. The calf muscles enable plantarflexion of the foot. These include the gastrocnemius, the soleus, and below them, the tibialis posterior. Now we'll go over Latin and Greek roots relevant to the musculoskeletal system. Ankle means stiff, crooked, or bent. Ankylosing spondylitis is an inflammatory arthritis that affects the spine and large joints. It can cause a hunched forward posture. Arthur means joint. Arthritis is inflammation of one or more joints. Arthropathy is any disease of the joints. Articular also means joint. Articular cartilage is the smooth, white tissue that covers the ends of bones at joints. Asthene means weakness. Myasthenia gravis is a chronic autoimmune disease that causes weakness in skeletal muscles. Brachy means arm. Brachial means related to the arm. Bursa means bursa, which is a fluid-filled pad that acts as a cushion at a joint. Calcanea means heel. The calcaneus is the heel bone. Carp means wrist. The carpal tunnel is a passage from the hand to the wrist made of tendons, ligaments, and bones. Chondr means cartilage. A chondrocyte is a cell that forms cartilage. Cleid means clavicle. The sternocleidomastoid is the most superficial and largest muscle in the front of the neck. It has many roots. Sternum means chest, cleido means clavicle, mastos means breast, and ados means shape or form. Cost means rib. Costochondritis is inflammation of the cartilage that connects rib to the breastbone. Crani means skull. A craniotomy is a surgical opening into the skull. Dactyl refers to fingers or toes. Polydactyly is the condition of having extra fingers or toes. Erg means work. Ergonomic means designed for efficiency and comfort in the working environment. Fasci refers to the fascia. This is a band or sheet of connective tissue that attaches to, stabilizes, encloses, and separates muscles and internal organs. Geni means chin. The geniohyoid muscle is a muscle from the chin to the hyoid bone. Kinesi means movement. Kinesiology is the scientific study of human body movement. Kyph means humpback. Kyphosis is an exaggerated forward rounding of the upper back. Lei means smooth. Leiomyoma is a benign smooth muscle tumor usually occurring in the uterus or GI tract. Lord means curvature or bending. Lordosis is an inward curve of the lower back. Lumb refers to the lower back. The lumbar spine, as we saw earlier, includes the 5 vertebrae of the lower back. Myel means bone marrow. Myelodysplastic syndrome is a group of cancers where blood cells are abnormally formed or don't function properly. Myo means muscle. Myopathy is a clinical disorder of the muscles. Os means bone. An intraosseous infusion is the process of injecting medication, fluid, or blood products directly into bone marrow. Oste means bone. Osteonecrosis is death of bone cells due to decreased blood flow. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis. It is wear and tear arthritis. Osteomalacia is softening of the bones. An osteocyte refers to osteoblast or osteoclast. Osteoblasts form bone while osteoclasts break down bone. Periosteum is the thick fibrous connective tissue that covers bone and includes peri, which means around. Physis means growth. The diaphysis is the shaft of a long bone, while the epiphysis is the end of a long bone. Ten refers to tendons. Tendinitis is tendon inflammation. Thank you for listening to my lecture today.